What's up guys, it's Zach and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're actually going to be talking about the Nintendo 3DS because obviously, as you guys might know, I personally love the 3DS. I thought it was a great system. Sure, it had some real duds in terms of game series that I really like coming to the 3DS and they ended up not being something I liked. But overall, the 3DS was a really good system. It had a lot of good games, a very strong library, and just so many good things about it. And obviously, as you guys know, we've moved on to the Nintendo Switch, and I kind of wanted the 3DS to die off since 2017. So now, the 3DS is officially done, and it's kind of bittersweet, but, Wii U games are getting a lot of ports to the Nintendo Switch, so why don't some 3DS games get some ports to the Nintendo Switch? So today, I'm going to be talking about 6 games that I want to see ported to the Nintendo Switch, or maybe remastered in some way. Obviously not direct ports, because with the 2-screen thing, it's kind of hard. These games will fall into one of 2 categories. The first category being of, it just came out after the year 2017, and the sales weren't that great. It was just being disserviced being brought to the Nintendo Switch at that time. Or the game's just really good and I would love to see it come to the Nintendo Switch. I nearly said 3DS, but I meant the Switch. So, yeah, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked today's video. And without any further ado, let's get into the discussion of what 3DS games I personally think should be brought to the Nintendo Switch. The first game is actually a game I do not have, and that is Warioware Gold. Now, from what I understand of this game, Warioware Gold is a WarioWare game that collects the best micro games from a bunch of different WarioWare games, kind of remasters them and brings them to the 3DS, and offers a new and unique story to, bring the WarioWare thing together. Personally, I love WarioWare games, and I feel like the fact that a WarioWare game hasn't been brought to the Nintendo Switch yet is an absolute crime. WarioWare is so much fun, and given that this game is a best of compilation, it would be amazing to see this brought to the Switch. Now, obviously, some of these games are touchscreen reliant and all that kind of stuff. And here's where I'm going to make an interesting spin on this video. I am going to say alternatives and things they should add on to make this kind of work for the Switch. Because obviously, the Nintendo 3DS has 2 screens, one touchscreen, one not. So I think it's important to kind of say, what we can do to make it work. And I think here we can have 2 different modes that you can play. TV mode or handheld mode. Handheld mode, you get access to all the different micro games, every single one. In TV mode, you only get access to the ones that don't require touch controls, which I think could work if they actually decrease the amount of touch control micro games in there, because obviously you don't want not many micro games in there. So, nonetheless, I think that could work. Like I said, I don't have the games, so I don't know how many touchscreen micro games there are as opposed to everything else. But, you can use the WarioWare Twisted micro games because the motion controls work handheld or in TV mode. So, there are a lot of different ways they can make WarioWare Gold work, and I think that's one of them. So, WarioWare Gold, I would love if that would come to the Nintendo Switch. Next up, I'm going to put this here because it almost falls into the same vein as WarioWare Gold, but that's Mario Party The Top 100. This is probably one of my favorite Mario Party games that NDQ have done, just mostly because they didn't really spoil this one. This is all purely classic Mario Party mini games, all the way from 1 up till 10, obviously not including the handheld ones, and they just did a lot of cool things with it. But the unfortunate thing is that this came out in 2017, after the Nintendo Switch came out, so it's really like, why did they do this? Like, why bring this to the 3DS? Especially because you have to downgrade basically the GameCube and up. Like the Wii U, you have Mario Party 10, you have to really downgrade that minigame. So, remaster this, maybe have some more minigames, maybe the top 150 or something like that, offer more minigames, because Mario Party 8, for some reason, only got 3 minigames. So, offer more minigames, make it bigger, maybe have a fan choice kind of thing, where fans get to vote on the minigames that come in. That could work really well, and that's the best way I can offer, for Mario Party Top 100. Maybe, even actually, now I'm thinking about it, making a Mario Party Top 100 that also includes boards. Picking 2 boards from each Mario Party game, yes, including the car ones, and bringing them to the Nintendo Switch. So that people who are a fan of the car version of Mario Party, where all 4 of you ride in the car together, you have those boards you can play. And people who are a fan of the more traditional Mario Party boards, you have those boards that you can play. So all Mario Party fans represented, all Mario Party fans are happy, and yeah, I know this is less of a port or bringing this game to the Switch rather than expanding it, but I feel like all of these games can be expanded in some way to make it work for the Nintendo Switch. So Mario Party Top 100 definitely should come to the Nintendo Switch. Do something with those old Mario Party minigames, please. They are so good. Next up here is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. I'm also going to include Ocarina of Time 3D. Now obviously, as you guys know, it is Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary this year, so I think one way to really do a good service to Legend of Zelda is bringing games like Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time to the Nintendo Switch. Well, the 3DS version of Majora's Mask, I can't speak for Ocarina of Time, but Majora's Mask fixed a lot of issues that the N64 version of Majora's Mask had. So I feel like it would do better service to Majora's Mask if they are going to bring it to the Nintendo Switch this year by bringing the 3DS version, touching up the graphics a little bit, making it look nicer, and bringing the 3DS version. First of all, the 3DS version looks nicer than the N64 version. Sure, they changed up some things in the game, but overall it looks nicer, it looks about the same, but, you know, improved visuals. They improved a lot of the control aspects of the game. The game controls a lot better in Majora's Mask, so there's so much they could do to make Majora's Mask 3D work on the Switch. I don't know, I think it'd be cool, this along with Ocarina of Time and maybe like Twilight Princess, all of those in the compilation pack together for Legend of Zelda. Mwah, beautiful. I think that would be absolutely great, but we'll have to see what Nintendo does for Legend of Zelda. What Nintendo does? What Nintendo does. That's what I meant. Next up, you all saw this coming from a mile away, and that's Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion, obviously, the 3DS port is absolutely spectacular. There are a lot of little issues with it. Obviously, the fact that the game looks kind of muddled in its art style just because of the limitations of the 3DS. The ghosts don't look as transparent. They look kind of weird looking in some instances. The controls really suck for it. But it's a great game. It offers a little something new. It offers a new little segment to the game. The Hidden Mansion mode is actually really good, so it's probably the most definitive way to play Luigi's Mansion in terms of overall content. There's a lot there. So I feel like Nintendo could just up-res this game, make it look better, and just bring it to the Switch. Unlike all these other games, I don't think they really have to do that much. The offering of the boss rush mode and the changing up of the gallery was really cool. I really like the changes they made to the gallery. It looks cool. You can see all of the images all kind of at once in a row. Like, it looks way better, in my opinion, than the original game's gallery. So just touch it up, do some little things to it, and just make it playable on the Switch. Make it a $40 game, physical or digital, and I would love to pick that up. It just seems like a great idea. You know, the fact that this game got released in 2018 means it did not sell well at all. It's not even in the top 50 sellers on the Nintendo 3DS. So the fact that they did this in 2018, when the 3DS was practically dead, makes you wonder, why doesn't Nintendo just bring this to the Switch? Trust me, after the success of Luigi's Mansion 3, I can promise Nintendo that this would sell super well on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo, please. Next up is The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. Now, I feel like this one's going to be a bit why. I just think because this game was really good. It has a really nice art style. It's a 2D Zelda game, and, you know, people like 2D Zelda games. So I feel like after they released Breath of the Wild 2, I feel like doing an up-res port of this would make some fans happy. I don't know the exact critical acclaim of Legend of Zelda, Link Between Worlds, but I do know it was decently popular, at least when it came out. So I feel like if they touched up the graphics on this game, maybe did some little touches up, because obviously it's a 3DS game, making it more formable to the Nintendo Switch, I don't see why this game shouldn't be, you know, up-res and ported. It's a great game. It really is. And yes, this game's already portable, but then you get to play it on the TV in an HD mode, and that would be really cool to see. Because this has an opposite problem of the Nintendo Switch, that this is only playable in handheld mode. You're condensed to this little tiny, kind of blurry screen. But imagining this game touched up and looking really good with HD visuals on your big TV screen, that is something I'd really like to see for this game. So that is why I'm putting this game here. And I think the last and final game I have here, which I actually don't physically have it, because I think it's pointless for me to have it, really emphasizes this point, and it's really the reason I made this video. I think Nintendo is the sole reason that Alpha Dream went out of business, personally. Just because of the fact that I'm presuming Nintendo wanted them to do these remakes for the Nintendo 3DS at a time where people just didn't care about it anymore. Well, was it 2018, 2019 even, when they were doing these remakes? It caused Alpha Dream, in my opinion, to probably go out of business. So, I think having the Mario and Luigi remakes that came out, and maybe even doing a third remake of Partners in Time, and offering them as a trilogy on the Nintendo Switch, would just be a great thing to do, because honestly, what else are you going to do with the Mario and Luigi series? I don't know if you could really bring it back. I think Nintendo should pour money into Alpha Dream, bring them back, and have them make this trilogy to make them some money so that they can start working on a new title. It's a damn shame that Alpha Dream are out of business, because I really feel like if Nintendo wants to make another Mario and Luigi game, they're just going to hand it off to another studio, and whenever Nintendo hand off a game to another studio, the game is usually drastically different when it comes to art style and gameplay and all that. I mean, think of Luigi's Mansion and Mario Party, for instance. They are completely different thematically than their, original counterparts. So, I don't know. I really hope Nintendo at least remake the 3 games that there are and have Alpha Dream somehow come back and do another game. I think that would be super, super wicked, but we'll have to see. So there you guys have it. Those are some of my thoughts on what 3DS games should come to the Nintendo Switch. What do you guys think? Are there any 3DS games that you would personally like to see come to the Nintendo Switch? Let me know down in the comments down below. So then, of course, click the subscribe button and hit that little notification bell so you're notified when I upload videos on the channel, and check out the merch store. There's some cool ZakPak merch up on there. And of course, become members of the channel just like my good friends Brandon and Dominic. Make sure to become a member of the channel by clicking either the join button down below, or there's a link in the description if you're on mobile. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.